Welcome back, everybody, to the Squared Circle Action Figure Podcast YouTube channel. We are live and in living color here at the Squared Circle Action Figure Podcast office, the Fig office. And this is our uncensored YouTube live streams. We love doing this every week for you all. We come on here with guests. Sometimes it's by myself, but mostly with guests. And we're rocking and rolling today. We're getting this started. We have the one and the only, the Hustle Man here. Mitch from Hasttel Toy.
How's everything?
Everything is going great, man. And you know, the thing is, just before we get started, remember everybody, follow us. Instagram and Twitter at SQDCircleAFP. The Squared Circle Action Figure Podcast will be back. We do really awesome podcast episodes called The Collector's Corner. So check us out on all major podcast platforms. We just did a really great interview with Jeremy Padower, and I'm going to be posting another interview with Josh Chernoff soon. So stay tuned to that. And don't forget, if you like what you're hearing tonight, if you like what you're seeing, hit the subscribe button here on YouTube. Our YouTube channel needs some more followers, needs some more support. So hit that subscribe button and obviously hit the like button. We just had the ZST of IG, Zombie Sailor Toys, on last week. And we're just going to be going onward and upward, man. So Mitch, man, how are you doing today? Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you on here, man.
It's a pleasure to be here, Will. Thank you for having me on. You know, you and I go way, way back. We're friends for quite a few years now. So this is kind of just like two buds talking, you know, like we're pretty well acquainted. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. I don't do these very often because I don't have time. B, I'm usually exhausted. So I'm happy to be here, and I love that shirt you're wearing.
I know, it's no baby oil. Now, guys, I know we blurred out a little bit to start, so my connection says excellent. If you guys can't hear us for any reason,
do these very often.
You know, I'm just checking right now. Everything looks good. The stream health looks good, but I'm doing well, Mitch. And yeah, I wanted to have you on one of these for a very long time. It's been a long time coming, and yeah, it's just, I think, an incredible story because we had met a few years back. When obviously all this figure stuff got really, really blown up, and we've been long time collectors, and just to see your growth, your business growth, you know, it's amazing. I mean, you've basically went from Instagram sales, which you still do, all the way to frickin' New York Comic Con this year, which is, you know, congratulations.
Thank you.
And tell us a little bit about it, man. Tell us where it all began. I know you had a really, really awesome passion for Hasbro, collecting wrestling figures, etc.
Yeah, basically it all started. The resurgence was the resurgence of the Hasbros, I think, is where this whole company started. You got the retros right behind me. Now the retros basically was, you know, most people know, I'm sure if they're listening, they're pretty well aware of wrestling figures, but in case they don't, basically the Mattel thought it would be a great idea, and it actually in fact did turn out to be a great idea, to bring back Hasbro, WWF Hasbro-esque figures back to retail. And it went over amazing, as we both know. So I was basically taking those and I was customizing the backboards and selling them as custom art pieces. Basically, they look like, you know, the original Hasbro back, but it was the characters that they were releasing at the time. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Undertaker, Ultimate Warrior. So they were like vinyl stickers that I was like, you know, putting on, making them more artsy and more Hasbro-esque. And that's kind of how I started it. And it basically started as just like a goof, just to see, because I wanted them for my own collection. So I was just, you know, selling them as like, you know, custom made pieces. And it just turned into actually a business, you know, and then I started selling loose Hasbros, carded Hasbros. And then, you know, I said to myself, you know, if you're selling Hasbros vintage, you can definitely go ahead and sell other stuff, you know, because they kind of all go hand in hand, especially if you're an 80s baby and all this other kind of stuff. So we started selling Ninja Turtles was like the next big thing that I could remember selling, you know, as far as toy lines go. And then it just kind of morphed and spawned into everything that I have around me in my store right now.
Yeah, I know, and it's crazy because like, I mean, I'm not even buying much wrestling figures from you anymore. I'm buying like stuff like this, which I just got, which is these old school Thundercats toys. And I think people don't realize that you just have such a large inventory of various IPs. And I mean, geez, vintage, current, etc. I mean, you were talking to me about the anime figures that you just got in today and everything. So really, you know, you gotta obviously supply the demand for everything when you own a shop, I guess, right? Is that kind of your philosophy? Kind of dabble in a little bit of everything?
When I first started in like I had a physical location was when I was in those like antique flea market type place that I was in.
Yeah.
And that went over really well because I was able to do the whole point of it. I would have just stayed, internet the entire time. But if I really wanted to like go all out and I wanted to do, autograph signings and stuff like that, which we obviously do now, I wouldn't be able to do it from my house comfortably and, have strangers come to my living room so that, Zack Ryder at the time could come, autograph stuff for you. So the physical presence was, the physical location was brick and mortar, if you will, was definitely a necessity to get to that next, plateau of, on store, retail.
And it's from a business perspective too, being educated and running and operating a business myself, like you have to have different streams of revenue, right? So I mean, you have to have the brick and mortar, you have to have the online retail presence. I mean, there as many streams of revenue, autograph signings, etc., Thundercats, wrestling, etc. It benefits your business and the longevity of your business. So you can take all that revenue that you generate from all these streams and then reinvest it into it and do other things and get more inventory and get bigger and even get into a bigger location or open up a second location eventually. So it makes sense. But what I love about it is this passion that you have. I mean, look, you're not a fraud. You're not a fraud, man. You post pictures of you being a little kid. You're at a birthday party, you're opening up Hasbro's, you're opening up all these fun things. I absolutely love when you post photos like that because the nostalgia just hits home big time for me, because I remember I don't have much of those photos, so you're lucky to have them. But you just have all these photos, man. And yeah, when did it all begin for you? What really got you into wrestling, man? Like what was it? Like, was it one specific thing or was it just the whole package?
I'm going to show you. I'll show you right now.
This is awesome.
I'm going to show you what got me into wrestling.
And remember, guys, he's the Hustle Man, #Hustle Man on Instagram and Twitter. So look at this right here. The big man, the dead man.
I mean, obviously it was circa 1991 or 1990, but this man is the reason that I started. That's my wife and my son there. And then there's me with the big cheese smile. I felt like a little kid. I mean, I look like a little kid, for God's sake. He's so big. But, and that actually is a fun fact. That's actually my original Ministry of Darkness T-shirt from when I was in high school. Somehow I must have ate my Wheaties that morning or something, and I was able to squeeze into the retro T-shirt. And then my wife there is wearing, I don't know if you could see it.
Oh, yeah, I could see. It's the one with the hand, the Undertaker shirt with the hand, right?
The first ever Undertaker T-shirt that was ever made, as far as I know, with the gray gloves, and the gray spats. So, yeah. So that was he was the reason I started watching. I mean, I was always, I love the Universal monsters. I love, horror. I love all that spooky stuff. Zombies, things like that. So when I first, I'm sure I was at like my uncle's house or something, and they probably had, I think it was Survivor Series at the time when the Undertaker made his first appearance. What was that, 1990, right?
Yeah.
So he had it on tape. I guess it had happened like, it may have been like February or January of the year after, maybe 91. Yep. But they were watching old tape from when Undertaker first showed up, and they're like, look at this guy, how cool he is. And then showed it to me, and I'm like, holy cow, this is, but I mean, even when I was little, I had the LJNs, like, everybody knew who Hulk Hogan was when they were a little kid. Everybody knew Andre the Giant, things like that. I had the big LJN ring, my son actually, fun fact, my son actually still has my original LJN figures from when I was a kid that my grandmother bought me for like my 3rd or 4th birthday or whatever it was. So they're still in my house. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, Undertaker was definitely the reason. I mean, the minute I saw him, I was like, man, and I started watching wrestling just for him. And then of course, as time went on, people, like Ted DiBiase, like one of my all-time favorites, the $1 Million Man, guys like that, then captivated my attention. And then, there's countless other names of, superstars that had great gimmicks and things like that. And you kind of fall in love with them, they become your heroes,
Yeah,
So-
definitely. And then what I loved back in the day, and we've talked about this on the podcast in the past, is, like concurrently you had the toys to go along with that stuff. So it's like it always reinforced what you were seeing on television. As a kid, you wanted to play and stuff. I mean, they do that today. I'm not saying that they don't have make toys for certain movies and stuff or shows, but I think it's a little different. I think it's not like it was back then. I mean, God, they made a toy for every single thing that was on television and the movies. I mean, you name it, they made a toy for it. We were very fortunate enough to get that reinforcement, whether it be comics, movies, whatever, through toys. And that's what we have this passion for collecting. It's funny that you do show me the picture of the Undertaker, because one, I didn't know that. And that's just the question I had on my mind to get to know you a little better, because I'm like, yeah, well, why did he get into it? I see all these photos, and I know you're a big horror buff. I know you're big into Ghostbusters too. And we'll talk about that a little later. Undertaker doesn't do a lot of signings. That's another thing. And that's what we have to do before we move on. Undertaker doesn't do a lot of signings, so it's awesome that you got to meet him. I still want to get one of his autographs in person.
Comic-Con, actually, I met him. It was right in Nassau Coliseum, like 3 or 4 years ago, maybe something like that.
Yeah, and he does stuff in Texas sometimes.
A funny story, actually. One day I came home from school. I'm gonna say I was still in grade school, maybe 7th or 8th grade, something like that.
Yep.
And I came home from school, and my mom had this flyer in her hand. I'm almost positive it was pink, and it said, "Meet the Undertaker, such and such a day," whatever it was.
Yep.
And she's like, "We're gonna go meet the Undertaker today," and I'm like, "You're shitting me, right?" And she's like, "No, we're going to meet the Undertaker, like right now. Like he's gonna be there in like an hour." I'm like, "Are you serious?" So
that's awesome.
Sure enough, I got changed. I changed my clothes, whatever. We go wait in line. Undertaker is doing an autograph signing at this place in Middle Village over in Queens, where I used to live. I used to live in Ridgewood, so it's a neighboring town. And it's a gas station / repair shop. He's just there. We waited on this line.
Amazing.
And we went in there, and it's Undertaker and Paul Bearer sitting next to each other. Now, mind you, this is still when he had the purple gloves. This is after WrestleMania 10, so I'm assuming it had to be, because he wasn't at WrestleMania 10, so it had to be around like WrestleMania 11, maybe 11, something like that.
Okay.
Before he fought Diesel, so it had to be between 11 and 12 or something like that. Anyway, we go there. He's got his black sunglasses on, his bandana, his black bandana. I have a picture of it on my Instagram. I'll repost it after this, this airs, and it's him and Paul Bearer sitting next to each other in literally where they have the lift that pushes the car up. They have a table set up right in the middle of the mechanic shop, and they're signing stuff. The weirdest autograph signing I can say I probably ever attended.
Yeah.
I've been to car dealerships, and they used to do that all the time.
All the time. And I was just going to say that even in Jersey on 22, Highway to Hell, I met Brett when I was like, I don't know, so many times. I met like superstars. I remember distinctly, though, being in 22.
Like a 700 square foot mechanic shop. It was a big dealership that made millions of dollars a year, probably. You know what I mean?
It was the one where I saw Brett, definitely, but not a mechanic shop like that.
They would empty out like one of the cars from the showroom that, of course, it's like the Taj Mahal when you go in there, and they would set up a table, and then you'd meet the wrestlers in there. You know what I mean?
Yep,
but
totally.
There was the weirdest thing. And then my uncle, who was in the auto industry, he worked for S&W Dodge at the time, I think it was. Okay. And it was a local place that, would do parts and things like that. But he found out through somebody that the urban legend was that the Undertaker was en route from JFK or LaGuardia, and he was heading to MSG to do a show, like a live show, right? And supposedly the limo broke down, and this shop, for whatever reason, must have had a tow truck nearby. They loaded the Undertaker into this tow truck and got him to MSG on time so that he could work his match. And he told them old school, like Godfather mob style, like, I owe you a favor. This is my phone number. if you ever wanted, me to come to your shop and do a signing to, bring attention to your shop, you give me a call, and next time I'm in town, I will come and do an autograph signing at your store, at your shop. And sure enough, the man of his word, just like we always hear, like from every other wrestler, that he's honorable and all this other kind of stuff. He kept his word, and he did an autograph signing with Paul Bearer in this little garage right next to my where I lived in a small town in Queens.
Amazing. That is so
That was the
cool.
first time I met him. I don't have that picture up, but this one was already blown up and everything, so it was more convenient.
Yeah, I definitely want to see that. I don't know if I caught that on your Instagram before, so definitely repost it for everybody that's following us, and we'll obviously reshare.
You could see the tires on the racks behind me. Like, you could tell it's there was no, like, they didn't even dress it up or anything with a backdrop. They didn't have that stuff then, I don't think. They just straight up, like, in the middle of the friggin', like, right where he was sitting, there was oil stains and stuff like that. Yeah, it was crazy, man.
It's a fun story, man. It is a great story. And yeah, I mean, it's tough to see him. Really quickly, I did want to say, definitely plug your stuff, man. Where can everybody find you really quick? And if anybody watching here has any questions, definitely chat along with us. If you have anything to say, I'll reiterate the questions to Mitch and whatnot, Hasttel Toy, and we'll go from there. But yeah, plug your stuff, man, because I know you have a lot of avenues. So definitely plug everything, and I'll bring some stuff up here on the browser. This is your Instagram page, Hasttel Toy.
There it is. We just yesterday or the day before, I started a TikTok, which I never thought I would do. But people asking me, like, to do funny, because they know I like to act like a ham and ham it up and do some funny stuff. So I started a little TikTok just to kind of, like, I guess, be in the presence of that crowd. It's a little bit of a different group, I guess. Yep. But we're obviously most relevant on Instagram. And like I said, that's where we started the business, just selling stuff on Instagram. And then, but now we do have here in Medford, Long Island, I'm sitting in it right now. This is the, this is the actual physical location where there he is, Matt Cardona, a friend of mine, and his wife, Chelsea, newly married. They're starting their honeymoon tour together at a dual appearance at Hasttel Toy on March 27th, I believe.
Yep.
So if you want to come meet them, they will be here in person, in the flesh. And yeah, so we're here. We got everything, like you said. I do have still, I'd say we're still about 30%, 25-30% wrestling. The rest of the stuff is comic books, superheroes, Funko Pops, NECA. We are an official reseller of Sideshow collectibles. We have an account with them, so if anybody collects that, we can always give good pricing on Sideshow collectibles. Yeah, so we're basically, we're in pretty deep now at this point.
Yeah, I mean, no, definitely, and I think you have to have a presence out there. I love this also, as and we're gonna get into the Ghostbuster stuff soon, but you definitely have a friend in Ghostbuster News, and I follow him on his YouTube channel. He's a wonderful dude. I love him.
One of the most genuine people that I've ever met in my life. So giving. Like, he, obviously he and I are friends now. Video chat every so often, and he's just unbelievable. Ghostbusters News. You can find him on YouTube, Instagram. He's an amazing cat, man.
And I follow him too. He's a really good guy. So we can find you. So you have two Instagram pages, obviously. You have Hasttel Toy and Collectibles, at Hasttel Toys and Collectibles, and that's mainly for all your other stuff, right? Your Ghostbusters.
Toy, yeah, that one is mainly for the Ghostbuster stuff, because I do a custom line of Ghostbuster cards. I don't know if you want to get into that, but we do autographed Ghostbuster cards. They're in the spirit of, they're kind of they pay homage to, like, the 2016 Cryptozoic cards that came out.
Yep.
They're in the spirit. There they are right there. We just completed that signing. Actually, I have the cards. I just packed them all up today. I'm gonna I'll pull them real quick. I got one right here in arm's reach. So, but yeah, this is how it came out when it was done.
Beautiful.
Signed by the man, Finn Wolfhard himself. We have COAs built into the back, and they're all numbered. These were only 25. We sold out. We pre-sold out of these before they even arrived in my possession, but I did get them yesterday, so I packed up, like, whatever had to go out today. So
yeah, super fun. I mean, I absolutely love continuing that, and then obviously making it very, very collectible.
There, I like that one.
Which one it was? The You and Your Jammies?
Hey, see that one?
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
This ain't a
Look at
fraud,
this.
guys. Look at this slide. Look at this. I mean, this vintage shirt probably goes for $700 on eBay.
Probably.
He's fucking.
And it has like pea soup stains on it, probably.
Oh, it's funny.
But yeah, that was a pajama set from J.C. Penney back in, I think it was 89 or 1990, something like that. It was right around, where Ghostbusters 2 was just coming out and whatever. So
yeah, real Ghostbusters. It's so funny. 7 years old, 1989. The I had the sheets in the bed set and all that. I remember I had a couple shirts. I didn't have this one specifically, but it's awesome. So talk a little bit as we're here. I mean, we might as well talk about it. You have a very much a love for Ghostbusters, and how did that begin? Was it similar to wrestling and your love for horror and whatnot? I mean, you absolutely love it. Again, you've gone as far as to reach out to a lot of these old cast members, even like Granny here, to get these cards continued and signed and whatnot. And tell us a little bit about that.
She is an amazing person as well. She was in Ghostbusters Afterlife. She was which is technically, we all know, is Ghostbusters 3, but she was one of the ones that interacts with Carrie Coon early in the movie at the diner, and she's hilarious. She's got one of the best one-liners in the entire movie, or in the entire franchise for that matter, which always makes me laugh every time I watch it.
Look, and everybody, we're talking spoilers. I've seen the movie twice. F everybody that hates this movie because it's so good. You were right, Mitch. I absolutely loved it. I cried in the theater and I cried at home afterwards as well. It's got that Star Wars, Luke Skywalker, Mandalorian feel to it at the end. And yes, is the plot very similar to the original? Of course, but it's perfect. I loved what they did with the movie.
Obviously it was done by Jason Reitman. He was like probably the original Ghostbuster kid that was a fan, the fan that was a kid that was a fan. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, he was the kid that was on the set while they were filming the movie before it even came out. So, you know what I mean? Like he and his dad was the director of the first two movies, and obviously he helped him direct.
Yep.
Reitman, yeah, who was an amazing director in his own right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Legend. He did some great movies back in the day that we loved when we were kids. Twins. He wrote a beautiful script, man, and then people that are crapping on it because there was fan service. Listen, if I'm spending my money and you're spending your money, and every other person out there that loves Ghostbusters or even casually likes Ghostbusters, if they're going to spend their money, don't you want to be stroked a little bit? I mean, this is what movies are supposed to be. I mean, they're supposed to cater to the fans. Who are they supposed to be catering to if they're not catering to the fans? You know what I mean? I don't understand that. And I don't think that the fan service in that movie was overly done either. I think it was very tastefully done, yes. Especially, spoiler alert, even the thing with Egon at the end, I mean, that was so tastefully done. You know what I mean? Like the way they did it. And they obviously got the blessing from his family, his widow and his children and stuff like that, So it's, people that are hating on the movie, they just need to be quiet.
It's just everybody wants to have a god awful opinion, right? You have to have a negative opinion in this world, in this day and age. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's the world we live in now. Everybody's got to have something to say. Everybody's got to have something.
Yeah, and it's not constructive. 99% of the time, it's probably not even constructive. It's just based on your perspective or opinion, or the fact that you just want to get noticed or something, or say something crazy.
It's still coming off the heels of 2016, which I'm not even going to get into. But that movie, the reason that movie was awful, in my opinion, wasn't the fact that there were women in it. I mean, I love female leads. I love Sarah Connor. I love Ripley and Alien. I mean, these are iconic women that kicked ass in movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a film philosophy actually called The Last Woman, and it was at Sigourney Weaver was that person in Alien. So there's actually there's like legitimate film studies about The Last Woman and Sigourney Weaver and her role in Alien and stuff. And it's important in film and in everything. But anyway, continue. Yes, I agree with you.
I just feel like, people, it was misogyny. It was all this other nonsense. It had nothing to do with that. It was the fact that you took something that for all ages, from, ages 100 to, it's like the Lego thing, 99 to 1, whatever it is. Like, it's beloved throughout the generations from 1984 till now. It's not something that you can just like, oh, we're gonna remake it. You know, it's like that's like remaking Indiana Jones or something like that. You just can't do it. It just doesn't go. You know, it's like one of those things where, you know, if they were gonna do a female cast, which I have no problem with whatsoever, they should have done a continuation or something similar to what they did with this movie, but they didn't, and they just I don't know what their goal was, but it wasn't to please the fans of the original films, that's for sure.
No,
You know,
and I agree they did a wonderful job. So how'd you get into Ghostbusters? Similar to kind of the wrestling stuff? I mean, is because you love it. I mean, you dress up as a Ghostbuster. I mean, you're really into this stuff.
have a proton pack and even shoots out smoke and everything like that. Has the soundtracks built into it. Yeah. I I mean, I was born in 1982, so the movie came out in '84, and then the cartoon with the real Ghostbusters was out. You know, alongside the Filmation Ghostbusters, which was also, as a kid, I love both of them actually. I always favored the real Ghostbusters though, but I mean, it's something that's ingrained in me now because that was what was cool when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like it was He-Man, it was Thundercats, it was Ninja Turtles eventually. You know, like so. These, and also like we were talking about before, these are the major toy lines of their time. You know what I mean? Like they kind of pioneered and paved the way to what we have now in the toy world. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for these other IPs laying the groundwork for now, we probably wouldn't have what we have today. You know what I mean?
No, and if we didn't have that nostalgia and we didn't all grow up, get old, and make some money, I don't think any of these IPs would last. You know, I mean, we create the demand for it. You know, so it's very important. And so satisfy us, guys. If anybody important's listen, you better be satisfying us. And he's doing the hard work because I'm doing the easy work. I sit here, I relax, I collect. I don't run a business. I come on here as a media personality, blah, 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 and if you're doing good work, I'm going to praise you. If you're doing shitty work, we're going to fucking call you out. And
the hardest part of being me as the owner and the guy that's like the front man is to acquire vintage toys and action figures and play sets and things that are in really good condition that I can obtain for a decent price that I can actually make a few bucks on when I sell it. So there's so many different variables that are involved in acquiring these things and trying to like make a living off of them. It's literally the hardest part. You know what I mean? Anybody can get an account with, if you had a brick and mortar store, anybody can get an account with Diamond, distributors. You can go get the new stuff. It's, as long as you get it in the time where it's still being, offered, you're going to get this kind of stuff, but the stuff like some of the stuff I have behind me, like some of the Thundercats you picked up from me last week, they're almost nowhere to be found. I looked up some of these guys, like what the heck was his name? What's that blue one's name that looks like
Bengali and Jaga? Yeah.
Oh, dude, I couldn't even find one. I had to scour the internet to try to find like how much I should charge for this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just that's the challenging and tasking part of of owning the business when you're going to be dealing with vintage toys. You know what I mean? Like Target doesn't have to go through that. Walmart don't got to go through that because they just say, "Oh, hey Mattel, hey Hasbro, send us what you have."
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Here's millions of dollars. Yeah. Send us what you have. We pay 30 days. Exactly.
Mattel makes the figures come out. So that's it.
No, that is it. And it's funny that you mentioned that because, my next question was going to be like, how do you procure some of this stuff? I mean, I know with the day, like it was easy back in the day. I mean, gosh, you could scour flea markets, you could scour yard sales and find amazing things. But now with the presence of the internet, it's tough for businesses to really get this stuff because one, people could sell it online themselves, or two, they can look and they know the value of what they have, and then they don't want to sell it for less than what it's being sold on the internet. And then when a guy like you comes into play, it's like, well, I can't make a margin on this then, kind of like you got to help me out here,
Tough, and then like you said, like, so even the people that are selling the stuff to you, most of them know what they have, and I'm not the type of guy that's going to be like, oh, this is not worth anything. Meanwhile, it's like a $300 piece, I'm not going to, because then, what happens? Like, those people will either come in later on or their friends or family will come in and be like, "Hey, did you sell him that thing that he's selling for $500 on that shelf over there? Like, how much did he give you for it?" So you don't want that. You don't want that. It's like bad
karma. It's yeah.
karma. It's a bad reputation. You know what I mean? You don't want that with people. Like, so that's why I'm as honest as I can be. You know what I mean? To the point where it's like, all right, listen, I'm gonna buy this thing from you, and I'm picking on him. Picking on Thor today. We use Thanos. These just came in, so that's why they're laying on my thing. They had a restock. So it's like they did a great job with these too, by the way, people. These diamond figures, I love these selects. I think they're so good.
Yep, 7 to 8 inch scale, and you also have to think about this. If you're doing DC McFarlane, these pair perfectly with them. I think.
Yeah, they're perfect. Like if you stick this next to Batman, you're about right scale. You know what I mean?
Yep.
In any case, so like I can't buy this and say, hey, this thing's worth $50. I'm going to give you $10 for it. It's just not going to fly. You know what I mean? It's you got to be fair to people. And then you know what? Maybe a month or 2 months from now, I've had it happen before. They'll come walking in with a giant box again and say, hey, listen, since you were so good to me when I needed the money the last time to pay such and such a bill, we were in a tight spot. I'm going to bring you this stuff. And you know what? Just give me whatever you think is fair. I don't even care. Like you help me. You're going to get good people like that too. You know what I mean?
Yes, and that's exactly what I was going to mention too. Like you said, I mean, it's repeat, right? I mean, if they brought a big box of something, they probably have a big box of something else lying around, and they're just trying to feel it out, right? I mean, that's the situation. So
the things that I hate or I dislike, I shouldn't say hate, but because I don't hate these people. I just dislike some of the practices. But like the guy will come in and say, hey, I got this Batman watch. Like, what are you going to give me for it? And then like, I have a bunch more stuff at home, but you let me know. And I'm like, you know what? If you're gonna do something like that, I don't want anything. Like, just take it out of here because it's like you're baiting me almost. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna get what you would have got on eBay for it. You know what I mean? But you're gonna get cash in hand or whatever it is in hand, and we'll make a deal. And you do it all at once. And otherwise, you can go through the trouble of dealing with the people on eBay that this thing has like a microscopic crack on it. I want my money back. And then eBay goes ahead and says, hey, we're going to give this guy his money back. Plus, the thing that infuriates me the most is then he gets to keep this. Plus, he gets his money back.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
In any case, so you don't have to deal with all that. You bring it to me. I'll give you a fair amount of money. And then I'm the one that has to now deal with the burden of piecing together your 13 million piece collection where you have all these little ninja stars and katana blades and stuff like that.
I know. It's pretty crazy. I mean, hey, look, I'm looking to sell a lot of my mid on our card stuff, and I, like I said, I even approached you and I was like, what do I do? What do we do? And so I mean, it's difficult, I mean, because like you said, you have to take something. Look, I am blessed. You see all of this behind me right now. I have the same on the other side, and it's all vintage toys from Silverhawks to Food Fighters to Thundercats to Cops and Crooks to G.I. Joe to real Ghostbusters to my hot toy stuff. This is the stuff I want. I displayed it. I did another room just recently that I posted on Instagram where it's got some Super 7 stuff. It's got the classified G.I. Joes here. So more modern reinterpretations of my vintage stuff. And then I'm going to do another room, which is more movie based, where it's like, like Batman, some DC, some Goonies, some of that stuff. And then maybe throw some wrestling in there too. But like a lot of my wrestling stuff, it's weird. You get to the point as a collector where what the hell am I going to do with it if it's just sitting in bins? Like I'll never have enough space to display it all. And I'm not the kind of guy that displays things like just to display them. I don't like those wonky, just like throw every wrestler in a ring that you can think possible and like call it a day. I just don't like that. I want.
There's got to be some kind of organization to it. You know what I mean? Even in the store here, like I'm forced to do things like that. Like that's another thing. Like it kind of like ties in with what you were saying. It's like sometimes people will come here that have no idea who I am or have no idea like what we're about, and they think this is like they think that it's like, because I guess maybe it's the surrounding or whatever, the neighborhood, but they think it's like like they can just come in here and like, oh, this is $50, like I'll give you $20 for it. I'm like, this is not a flea market, dude. You know what I mean? So I really try to go out of my way to like, make this place as time goes on. I really try to put more glass in here. I try to, put more like fancy displays and stuff. Like you don't see beater action figures in the store. Like they don't exist. I have one bin of $10 basics, but they're not even beat to shit. You know what I mean? Like I don't sell junk toys. Anything that's in here, even the bags behind me, they're all in like, I'd say the worst condition you're gonna get is probably 7.5 out of 10. You know what I mean? Like there's no, there's no crap figures in the store.
Yeah, you're not getting LJNs with all the paint off of them and that
No.
chewed up or anything like that. And I can attest to that because I purchased. Hey, what's up, Fabulous Disaster? How you doing? I don't know if you're still there, but thanks for joining into us. Everybody is doing well. Fabulous Disaster is great. He's a longtime listener and follower of both the podcast and the YouTube live streams, Instagram, etc. So no, I agree with you. Like most of the stuff I get from you, I got that Slaughter from you, that LJN or Hasbro, I should say, a mail away that was in beautiful condition.
I hope you saw it.
I saw the other one, yeah, that you were that you picked up. Did that sell or?
Yeah, it sold. It was heartbreaking because I'm telling you, bro, like the hat was intact. I remember you and I talked about the hat snapping. That's a common issue with them. It was in perfect condition. The outfit, all the decals and the paint app and everything on the singlet and everything like that, all perfect. It was like mint.
Yeah.
But on the arms, it had the mold spots from like the shoulder to like the wrist over here. It was all those dots and then a few on the back as well. So it was that was the heartbreaking part. Like if that didn't have the mold spots, it would have easily been a $1,200-1,300 figure.
Crazy. No, I know. And it's all they always have those spots too. It's pretty crazy,
I sold you, I don't think had any mold spots, right? It was nothing.
No, not too bad. It has a little bit like, and it's so weird. It just, sometimes it comes up too, as it like it's in the case or something. I'll see one pop up. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I'm not, it's just sitting in a case, Right. 1 second. I got a poor stream right now. I just want to make sure that it's okay. It's saying for some reason, it's not receiving enough video, but I'm on here on my phone and it looks great. So
I'm here too. I'm just texting the missus.
No worries. Yeah, no, it looks great. Okay, so hey, look, I don't know about why it says it's not receiving video, guys, but it looks good on my phone. So I'm gonna just disregard the error as Hasttel Toy is out here. But yeah, it's a very common problem with that LJN. It's so odd because I'm assuming that what happened was Hasbro used different plastic or something like that. So but I was very lucky to get one from you. It was in very good condition. And then I've just got so much figures. Again, these Thundercats from you. I got a lot of so if you're into classic superstars, guys, Hasttel usually has a really, really, really great great inventory of classic superstars. I've got a lot of that from you, the deluxe stuff. And again, there's not a lot of paint wear. There's not a lot of craziness, so I mean, good condition stuff.
I have bins and bins of junk figures that I should one day do a junk sale, but I don't. Again, that's the problem. I don't ever want to get that impression. I mean, there are some places locally, not too far from here, that they don't care. They just sell whatever, and God bless them. I mean, They sell whatever. They don't care if there's paint missing, a foot missing, and people go there and they dig and it's like buried treasure. They try to find gold in these bins.
Yeah, they try to find gold. What's funny is come on, guys, you're like a business. I'm not gonna put gold in a bin. If you're at the flea market and Joe Schmo that you may not. You may not know what he's got. Yeah, may have a problem. But I don't know. I don't know why this is what I hate about YouTube. Hold on 1 second. No, it looks good. I mean, sounds good, looks good. I don't know, guys. Sorry, I'm just worried about the stream health, but it looks good on. Look, I'm watching us. It looks good. Screw it. So yeah, man. I mean, look. You sell quality stuff. We know that. You've been doing it a long time. As far as moving into a brick and mortar, I mean, were you set on that location? How long did it take you to really say that this is going to be my spot? This is where I think I could do good business and such. I mean, is it just how do you get to that point, man?
Man, I was eyeballing the spot for years, man. This store has basically been empty since basically like when I moved out here to Long Island, like it was empty for at least 6 years before I rent, and I've been here 2 years. So it's got to be like when I first moved out here, this was for rent for so long, nobody even wanted to look at it. And then I said, you know what? I said, since I bought the house only 4 minutes from here, I said, you know what, that would be a good spot. You know, I mean, there's a lot of traffic. I mean, it's not a lot of traffic where people are going to stop every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But you know, you have a nice cluster of different types of stores here. We got a barber shop. There's a gun shop next door. There's a Carvel right there. There's an ATV place. There's an animal vet, like a veterinarian's down on the corner over there. There's a big pizzeria that's amazing food. I eat there all the time now. It's really good. And they're right there. So it was like a nice, I felt like there's houses right behind us. There's a firehouse right behind us. There's a school right down the road. So it was a good, it was a good prospect. And then when I came and they offered me a decent rent, I said I wanted to get it for actually a little bit less. But, you know, they gave me a pretty good deal. And then I moved in. I opened the store and beefed up the live sales again because I kind of slowed down a little bit with them, kind of like I did recently. Only because I'm so busy here, and then my son, you know, he's starting to come of age now where he notices when I'm not there and when I am there, and you know, he likes to see me, you know, so he just turned 7 in November. So, you know, it's you know, I don't want to be the absentee dad that's working all the time. And I watched Jingle All the Way too many times.
Yeah.
I don't want Phil Hartman next door trying to steal my wife. So,
stay away from my cookie or whatever. Get away from those cookies.
Don't touch my cookies.
My cookies.
But, you know.
No, I totally understand it.
I think so far, you know, I mean, it was disheartening that when I went to Sam's Club down the road, you know, there were 100 people in there, and I was buying food and stuff for my house, and I wasn't allowed to have 2 people in my store. You know what I mean? That kind of, I get it, with the essential business and all that stuff, but you know, who's to say toys aren't essential, man?
I know. I mean, Target was open, right? I mean, we went to Target. Exactly.
They weren't segregating what people could and couldn't buy. So there were people walking out with stacks of figures when I was there and stuff like that. So there was a lot of nonsense involved in that whole thing too, you know. But,
well, it was good that you actually persevered and you got through it, and now we're in a whole different climate, and hopefully it only gets better from here. I know everybody's getting COVID, so just stay healthy out there. Be smart. I think that's the key to it all. You know, just be smart.
Wash your hands, keep your mask on. If you're sick, stay home. I mean, these are common sense things, man. Like, you know, the part that grossed me out the most about this whole pandemic thing was the fact that I had to read, like, after you use the bathroom, like, you know, I don't know what they said, but like, if you drop a deuce, make sure you wash your hands after you're done wiping. It's like, are you serious? Like, people really need to be told to wash their hands? Like, that is disgusting. You know, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, it's common sense. I thought it was common sense. You take a crap, you wash your hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. But
I don't know either. I don't know, bitch. Hey, it's a weird world we live in, and let's just be happy that I think we're past. I hopefully this craziness, right? I mean, and we'll go from there. Hey, look, you got through it. You know, everything's good. Question to you. I always ask everybody that comes on this podcast right now. I know you're a big horror guy. What is it that you really love to collect? We know you love wrestling. We know you love horror and Ghostbusters. I mean, are you concurrently I can't speak. Are you concurrently collecting anything right now? Like, is there something that you hunt for? What did you say, sir?
Say that 10 times fast. Concurrently collecting.
Yeah, that may not even make any sense right now, but whatever. I'm going with it.
It does, but I'm just saying, say that 10 times fast. It's impossible.
It's impossible.
But the fact that you said it once is a miracle. I don't know how to figure somebody would say it more than once. But all right. So when I started Hasttel Toy, I stopped collecting wrestling figures because that was what I predominantly sold, right? So if I was selling, you know, really hard to get wrestling merch and things like that, everything that came in, I would want to keep for myself in my personal collection. So for the betterment of like Hasttel Toy, I stopped collecting wrestling stuff altogether, and I had a mint on card set of Hasbros, and I had a mint loose set of Hasbros, and I sold them all just to kind of further the business. And to this day, and all the Hasbros I've had come in, and things like that. I never went back and bought my Hasbro collection back again. So uh, I feel like now I could comfortably probably start maybe, but the market right now is just so ridiculous for them. Like even if I got them for a decent price, like it doesn't behoove me to keep them because I can make more money selling them, you know. But maybe one day down the road I will. But I literally don't have any wrestling merchandise in my collection, in my man cave. Nothing. I have nothing.
It's funny
Nothing.
that you mentioned that because it's the old mantra, right? It's like you don't what is it when you're like
Your own supply.
yeah, don't get on your own supply. Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's the old mantra, and like you're living that really, but at the same time, you always have it in front of you. So it's kind of like that and that's what's so fun about it because you have all this stuff behind you. You could see the vast amount of wrestling figures you have. I mean, it's like walking into your man cave every day. Look at that. I mean, that's like, come on. Like, it's a dream, you know? Like, and then you're selling it, and then you're getting more of it, and you're selling it. I mean, come on, guys. Now, I'm not saying to compete with Mitch here. I'm not saying everybody needs to open up a business, but really, for the people that have done it, I mean, it's like a dream come true. I know a guy, Paul, that has a small shop, Paul's Toy Room, by me, and it's not very heavy wrestling or anything, but he has like, you know, his case of tears, and it's like his man cave, you know, and he sells and he goes and he acquires more, and you know,
like you said, like I showed before, you know, like we have, you know, like then I have my little like my trinkets, like there's my Undertaker and Paul Bearer autograph, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I got my stuff, you know, this is like little stuff that kids make for me. That's supposed to be me in an action figure form. A little kid made that for me.
That's cute.
You know, here's my major wrestling figure podcast card.
Oh, I know. I saw you go over the live there. You got to come out with that pink suit more often, though. You know.
I know. That pink suit was a beauty, man. That was a beauty. I love that thing. So comfortable too.
So in your man cave, then you have mostly, then I would say Ghostbusters and horror stuff and stuff like that.
Horror, Ghostbusters, classic horror, like, you know, Frankenstein and like the originals, like Karloff and stuff like that, you know.
What do you think of the new Universal Monsters done by Jada Toys? I mean, I got the new Next NEXT or Next Frankenstein. I think they look great. I don't know what your opinion is on them, but have you seen this stuff yet?
You talking about the Jada ones?
Yeah, the Jada Toys Jada Toys. Yeah, the 6-inch ones. They're amazing figures, Universal Monsters. I think they're the best on the market, and they do their Next exclusives. Yeah, that Creature of the Black Lagoon is awesome. I don't have that yet, and they're doing a glow in a dark version. But the Bride is amazing.
I have plenty. If you need one, we can always talk after we, you know. I thought NECA nailed it with this one too, though.
Yes, I did the black and white one from them. I didn't do the regular version, but I did the black and white from NECA.
I have the color one also.
Yeah, I did the black and white.
The Michael Myers is a hot seller right now too.
Really? I did not. I passed on that one.
Really hard to get.
I'm a Halloween 2 guy, so I think the Michael Myers from Halloween 2 from NECA is my favorite. You know,
that's a good one.
Yeah,
we got John Wick back in stock too recently. That was a tough one. That was a tough one.
So yeah, I mean, do you have like stuff like that? Are you collecting the Jada stuff, or?
I think I kept a set for myself, but you know what, man? I have the original Sideshow 8-inch ones. I have the whole set. I have the whole set of the 12-inch 1/6 scale dolls that Sideshow made in the early 2000s.
Yep.
I have all the premium formats of all the monsters, like the whole line, like including the Mummy, who's like impossible to get now. I have them all. So I have life-size busts in my house. So like when things come out, like I love the Jada ones. They definitely they're very toyetic, if that's a good word for them. Mm-hmm. They look like toys that would have came out in like the 80s or something like that. They're kind of like a throwback. They're not as detailed as NECA, but they're not as like, you know, articulate as like the original Remco figures or anything like the horror. So they're like somewhere in between, which I think makes them appealing. If they're not too overly detailed. You get what I'm saying? Like when we were kids, like the toys weren't always like fully posable and articulated and stuff like that.
Yeah, so because they have that Universal Monsters line. What I think you were talking to me about it, like you were looking for like Frankenstein or something, or one of the last ones. Is that Remco? That was the Remco, or was it the?
I need the Wolfman and I need the Mummy. Those are the two I'm missing. I have the Phantom, I have the Creature from the Black Lagoon, I have Frankenstein's monster, and I have Dracula.
Yeah,
But I'm missing.
and that's
I'm
all
missing
mid on card, right? You're doing mid on card on that.
card. Like I still have those. Another one of the rare instances where I still have my original Remco figures from when I was a kid. Like those are the actual ones that my mom took me to Toys R Us in 1980, whatever the heck that was, and I bought. I actually have my original one still left.
That's awesome. Have you got any of the Mezco? Like, so I love the Nosferatu. They did the 1/12 Nosferatu. I'm a big Nosferatu guy, like the 1920s version or whatever. Did you get the Silent Screamers Nosferatu or?
I have him in storage somewhere. It's not on display, but I do have him, and I have the cabinet of Dr. Caligari, or whatever it is.
Yes, yes.
It was like kind of like the precursor to like Frankenstein, I guess.
Mhm.
But that was good. That was good stuff. I like the Nosferatu actually. I have the Nosferatu premium format also.
That's awesome. Yeah.
You got like long nails that a lot of the time they break. Mine did not, thank God, intact, but they have like these long fingernails. Pretty cool.
Yeah, to recreate that beautiful scene while he's walking up the staircase or whatever. I love
Shadow
it.
of the Vampire, great movie that not a lot of people know about. Great movie.
Oh my gosh, and you have to see it. So I had the pleasure to be in Salem, Massachusetts for one Halloween, and I got to see it actually on church, and they did a live organ playing of it on the projector. I mean, yes, you have to see this Nosferatu movie. It's
Shadow of
amazing.
the Vampire or the Nosferatu figure? The Nosferatu.
Yeah, it's the Nosferatu movie. Yeah.
Shadow of the Vampire is the movie with William Dafoe.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I haven't seen it. What is
it
called?
He plays Max Schreck, the guy who played Nosferatu. But they do like a whole play on it where like he was actually a vampire and he wasn't acting. It's really good. And Willem Dafoe, like even if you think about it now, like him with a shaved head up here, and like he looks like the original actor Max Schreck that played Nosferatu.
Wow,
that's hard to get. It's even on DVD. It's not that inexpensive. Like I got it, but it's a great movie. If you really love Nosferatu, you got to see Shadow of the Vampire. Okay. Great movie.
Yeah, I will definitely check it out, man. So that's, look, man, you've been doing a lot. You've been you just had a live sale. What's next for Hasttel Toy?
I hadn't done one in almost a year, and I finally did one. So
I can't believe it's been a year, man. That's crazy. Wow, how time flies.
It's so I'm just so caught up with so much other stuff, and kind of like now too. I'd like to stay loyal to my Instagram followers, but also like I need to have stuff in the store. So if there's all this amazing stuff that comes in the store, and then I sell it on Instagram, what's the point? Like nobody's gonna want to come to the store. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things where you kind of have to try to segregate some of everything to kind of like fulfill the needs of each venue that you sell stuff on. It's there's so many different like variables and like things that you have to do to just kind of balance everything out with what you sell and what you don't sell and stuff like that. So
yeah, and try to get doubles of stuff and everything like that. I can imagine. Yeah, it's like you said, it's pretty. It's detailed. You have to be detail oriented. You have to be organized. You have to make sure that, like you said, you can satisfy everybody. But yeah, Mitch, what's next for Hasttel Toy? You said, and I'll bring this up real quick. Again, you go to the website. You got the signing coming up with Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green. It's going to be the beautiful, beautiful wedding tour that they're doing on March 27th, 2 to 5.
There's definitely another store in the works. I don't know the exact details of it yet, but it's gonna be something, I don't want to open up 5-6 stores. I just don't think it makes sense anymore. And I was just telling somebody this earlier today too. And I constantly like live and die by this, but I feel like in the year 2022 that it's just not realistic to open up many stores in such a small area. You know what I mean? It's like it's one of those things where like the internet is so relevant these days, and even old folks or older folks use the internet. So there's really no need to have 10 stores in like a 30-mile radius. It just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not like a Wendy's or a McDonald's or a Dunkin' Donuts or a pharmacy where you need one in every town. It's just especially with all these other internet like Amazon and stuff like that. So but there probably will be one more that's going to be like it's going to be geared to different, maybe slightly different stuff than what we sell here. I don't know exactly. I don't know the exact coordinates yet or anything, but there's definitely going to be something else coming in the next year or so. So
nice. And yeah, we're super excited for it. I'm excited to hear what you have planned. And you ever want to come to New Jersey, let me know, and we'll open a store together.
now that everything's all starting to, well, I hope it's opening up. I don't know what's going on anymore, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, we got to definitely get together. You got to get your butt out here too. Oh, look at that handsome devil.
I know. Look at this. There's the pink suit. Has the hustle.
Actually, those are the professional photos that they took at the FWF Live too. That I did. I was with Tatanka.
Oh, and we didn't talk about this really quick. You were a professional wrestler. People don't know this.
Yeah, I was a professional wrestler for 10 years, professional, and then obviously before that, I did a bunch of backyard wrestling and all the stuff that we usually do as kids and teenagers. But yeah, 10 years. I had like my last match in 2010. It was in the Elks Lodge, actually.
Yes, I was going to say Queens Elks Lodge. That's now, I think, a Korean something temple or whatever.
And then I did these two appearances for the Major Brothers in the FWF thing. The first one was a run-in. I cost that scoundrel Matt Cardona the match against VSK, and then the second time it was Tatanka versus Brian Myers, and I was Tatanka's, manager and benefactor. But yeah, you got to watch that one to see how that turns out. But
there you go, live 2 here, the Hustle Man, and look, the guy can take a bump. So there you go.
Yeah. It hurts like the Dickens, but
Yeah. Hey, it's more than I could do. That's for sure. I'm trying to convince wrestling schools that they need to do something promo wise and non-bump related. And everybody's telling me it's all physical. I'm like, it's not all physical. People need to learn how to book. People need to learn how to do psychology. People need like all this training, but anyway,
even the referees learn how to bump. It's there's so much involved in wrestling that it's an amazing organism,
It is. I find it fascinating, and that's why I continue to watch it and continue to participate in these communities and whatnot. So, man, thank you so much for coming on. Just plug your stuff again. Where can everybody find you? Where can they follow you?
Hasttel Toy on Instagram, Hasttel Toy on now TikTok. I just put up a new TikTok video, so if you want to check it out, it's funny. It's not meant to be insulting or anything like that, people. It's a video of things that I think, like, what's inside. You remember Herman's head? This is Mitch's head. This is the things that I think in my mind when I see certain types of folks that they're not collectors, they're not in our world. It's just a funny video that I meant to just make people laugh. You know what I mean? But check it out; it's funny. I put it up there today.
Are you on Whatnot as well, or no? I mean, I know you.
I tried the Whatnot the other day. It's hard for me because I created my own domain and my own world, and I don't mean domain by www. I mean domain like my dwelling space. I created my own world. You know what I mean? So, which is one of the main reasons why you haven't used eBay in 6 years to sell anything. So it's like, it's one of those things where like, for me to go into somebody else's world and be productive or whatever, it's okay, but I'm just so accustomed to doing my own thing now. So I don't like, and I always do the right thing by everybody. I just don't like to have to adhere to other people's demands and things like that. And
it's all about the parameters and stuff. I mean, like I know. I mean,
it's a great platform. It's great. It's a great idea. It's basically what I've been doing for the last 6 years. Like, I was one of the first guys to do live claim sales and things like that. So it's basically what I've been doing this whole time anyway. It's just they made a platform for you to do it so that you can, I guess it's a little bit easier. It's more accessible. But Yeah, they're great people too. Very nice people. The people that are in charge of whatnot. But yeah, I'll probably be back on there at some point again. But like I said, I just for now, it's one of those things where at the current situation here is that it behooves me to just continue doing it the way I'm doing it. But I think I will return here and there and pop into what entertaining. You can watch me on Instagram, and I do a lot of live, and I'll advertise them usually a day or two in advance, so you'll have plenty of time to prepare the wallet to spend money with the hustle man.
With the hustle man, who's gonna take it? Yeah, he's gonna take your money from his just beautiful presence and articulate voice and just getting you in there and getting you all excited. Dude, no baby. Dude, I tell you, I wasn't even watching most of the Instagram live session because I was so busy, but I had you on my phone the entire time. I'm surprised the damn thing didn't die. And I even forgot at one point I heard your voice and I'm like, where's Mitch? I'm like, what? And then I look, I'm like, oh my God, I still got him on live stream. And I'm like, because I knew something would eventually come up and I heard the Thundercats and I was like, bing, I knew it. I knew you would have something. So, all right, Mitch. Well, I want to thank you for coming on, man. And the Wolfpack, the HWO is in full force. It's the Hasttel World Order. It's the Hustle Man. You can find them on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and everywhere. And you can find all this in the description of this live stream. So we'll post all the links to make it easier for you guys.
Video too, when you get a chance, so I can do something with it.
Yeah, definitely. No problem. Don't forget, we're here weekly. Usually Thursdays, Wednesday, Thursdays, maybe even Fridays sometimes, where we're trying to check out, like, is this Thursday work? Does Friday work? Whatnot. But you can find us here on YouTube. Squared Circle Action Figure Podcast, Uncensored, every single week. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at SQDCircleAFP. I'll post several days in advance when we're going to be on live. So check us here on the YouTube channel. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button. And remember, guys, the Squared Circle Action Figure Podcast is the gold standard of wrestling figure collecting. And we will see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Will.
Thank you.
Peace out.